Lorenzo catches it and he hands it back to Frank Wycheck of all people. And I'm like, what the heck is Frank going to do with it?
The Titans have a miracle left in them in what has been a magical season to this point. If they do, they need it now. Christie kicks it high and short. Going to be fielded by Lorenzo Neal at the 25.
Frank throws it across the field to Dyson.
To Wycheck. He throws it across the field to Dyson. He's got something.
That's interesting.
He throws it 50. He's got it. 40, he's got it. 20, 10. He's got it. End zone. Touchdown Titans. There are no flags on the field. It's a miracle. Tennessee has pulled a miracle.
Feel free to be whoever you want to be. Feel free to dance, feel free to sing, just feel free. Feels like the world is picking on ya. Feels like it's picking on me. But trying to please everybody.
Well. Welcome back, everybody, to the Two Tone by God pod. And it's Monday. Monday. What did I say last week on last week's episode? Monday night in Miami. Kind of sounds like a horror film getting ready to play out before our very eyes tonight. The Tennessee Titans traveling to Miami. No Jeffrey Simmons. Dolphins, one of the better teams in the league with one of the fastest wide receiving groups in the NFL. What could possibly go wrong tonight? Before we get into today's discussions, I do want to first of all say that I will be doing a special episode tomorrow. That's right, we can't not have an episode the day after a game. So I will be doing a bonus episode tomorrow, Tuesday, talking about whatever happens tonight. So be on the lookout tomorrow for a bonus episode of Two Tone Talk. And second of all, I do want to talk about the passing of a Titans legend, former Tennessee Titans tight end Frank Wycheck. It was announced yesterday that he passed away, 52 years old. And what a sad, sad day for Titans fans. And I can tell you that Frank Wycheck, along with Steve McNair and Eddie George, that was kind of the trio that made me become a huge fan of the Tennessee Titans. Wycheck, Eddie, and Steve. That was kind of the big three, along with some help from the Freak, Javon Curse, and D. Mace, and Keith Bullock, and some others. But terrible news on the passing of Frank Wycheck. I posted this on the Two Tone Talk Twitter yesterday, but if you went in my bedroom as a child, I had a giant poster of Frank Wycheck hanging above my bed. I guess I would have been 6 or 7 years old. Titans South in the chat said they were born in 2000, so I was born 7 years prior. So I was 6 or 7 years old when Frank Wycheck, when I first started watching the Titans, and Wycheck was one of their key guys. And what terrible news! So of course we send all the love and prayers out to his loved ones as they mourn his passing. And what a phenomenal player he was, and what a phenomenal career he had. Obviously, the most notable play of his career, the Music City Miracle, where he lateraled it. Yes, lateral, backward pass. If I got any Bills fans watching, he threw it backwards to Kevin Dyson, who returned the kickoff in the final seconds of the playoff game against the Bills. And, you know, it's kind of fitting that it almost happened last night. Travis Kelce, against the Bills, lateraled the pass across the field for the near game-winning touchdown, but we all know the story there. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But sending all our love and prayers to the loved ones of the great Frank Wycheck. Hate to hear the news of his passing yesterday. And yesterday there was a lot of football that was played. More football tonight, a doubleheader. Not just Titans-Dolphins, but also the Packers and the Giants are going to play tonight. And if you are one of the folks who is looking ahead at the draft, if you are one of the folks who is looking ahead to April and the draft order, yesterday was a good day for the Titans. The Chicago Bears, who were in front of them, won. The New York Jets, who were in front of the Titans, won. So currently the Titans have moved up from pick 8 to pick 6. And depending on what happens tonight, they could move up to pick 5 and even pick 4. They could move into the top 5 tonight, folks. And it also is a bonus that all of our AFC South Division rivals all lost in horrible fashion yesterday. That was just a bonus. B. Ravens 1, before we get into all the draft stuff, B. Ravens 1 said, where would Frank Wycheck be among the greatest Titans of all time? That's a good question. I think top 5 Titans of all time, you're looking at Steve, you're looking at Eddie. My personal opinion, you're looking at Derrick Henry. You're looking at, some people would argue he's a top 5er. I would definitely say he's the greatest tight end that we've had. I know Delaney Walker put together some great stuff with the Titans as well. But he's definitely top 10. I'd say top 10. Maybe not quite top 5, but top 10. Anyway, the Titans, it was a good day for them yesterday in terms of draft order. And if they lose tonight, it would move them up to number 5. If they lose and the Giants win, it could move them up to number 4. So if you're one of the people who are looking at draft position and things like that, good day for the Titans yesterday. And an entertaining day of football. There's some great games yesterday. And it was nice to just sit back and watch the Red Zone channel as they brought it all to me yesterday. And I got to talk about this. I know this is a Two-Tone Talk podcast. We talk about the Titans. But really, there's nothing... excuse me. I was just thinking about what I'm about to talk about. There's nothing really new to talk about Titans-wise today. I mean, the game's tonight. We know the situation. I got to talk about this Chiefs-Bills fiasco from yesterday. Patrick Mahomes. It's appropriate. It's Christmas time. Makes me think of the line from the movie Elf. He's an angry elf. Yesterday, Patrick Mahomes was an angry elf. I have never seen this man lose his mind to this degree. This man was throwing his helmet. This man was trying, it looked like he was trying to fight the referee. They had to hold him back. I'm sure you've seen the clip of he and Josh Allen at midfield after the game. Josh Allen's just trying to say, good game, bro. Mahomes is like, that's the worst call I've ever seen. He's like going off. And here's my thing. Okay. This is a case where two things have to be true at once. Number one, yes, the referees are consistently awful at their jobs. Okay, we watch it every week. All 32 teams in this league have experienced poor officiating, especially over the last few years. It's gotten worse and worse and worse. Okay, we have experienced it. We have watched it. We have been on the receiving end of it. We have been the beneficiaries of it sometimes. There have been times where the Titans have gotten calls in games. I've been like, well, that's an awful call, but I'll take it, you know. So yes, the referees are awful. And if it were up to me, we would be calling it out every week. With that being said, the call that they made last night of Kadarius Toney being lined up off sides on the play that would have been a touchdown, that was the correct call. Kadarius Toney was clearly, plainly, obviously lined up off sides. I don't know what else to tell you. Patrick Mahomes, in his press conferences, he's like, this was such a great play, and Travis Kelce is this great tight end, and it was stolen away. And it's like, yeah, it was a great play. I mean, unbelievably gutsy for him to lateral the ball across the field. Yeah, it was a great play, but the guy was lined up off sides. You can't just stop following the rules because a cool play got canceled out. You know what I'm saying? You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me of the Super Bowl last year when the Philadelphia Eagles got called for defensive holding, and everybody was so mad because that pretty much sealed the game, and the Eagles didn't have a chance to come back down and try to tie the game. It's like, okay, yeah, it is lame. It would have been much more interesting to see if the Eagles got a chance to come back down, but it was defensive holding. We can't just change the rules when people just want stuff to count. Like, the referees can't be like, hey, this guy was lined up off sides, but man, that was a cool play, so let's just wave it off. Like, you can't do that. And that's why I don't understand what Mahomes' argument even was. You're really going to take this away from us because of offensively offsides? It's like, what, you want him to stop following the rules? There are all sorts of examples where these referees make bogus, game-changing, awful calls. This wasn't one of them. And what sucks about this is that because Mahomes is going in so hard on these referees at a moment when they were actually correct, now it's going to make Goodell and the referees say, look, you guys are getting all over our case. This was the correct call. This is what they're going to say, that because this actually was the correct call, and Patrick Mahomes is choosing to go off about it, this is going to allow Goodell and the referees to go, you guys need to lighten up. We're just following the rules, okay? Never mind, most of the time, their calls are bogus, awful calls. This was the correct one. And forgive me, I'm sorry, guys. The Chiefs and Mahomes are going to rant about the referees. Come on. Like, there was a thread on Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it now. There was a thread of all of the times that the Chiefs have been bailed out in the past. One of those was against our Titans last year on Sunday Night Football when they called defensive pass interference on one of our guys when it clearly should have been offensive pass interference on Travis, by God, Swifty Kelce. And they just called it on us for no good reason. There have been calls like that for the last 3 years that benefited the Chiefs. We just saw some of those earlier this year. Remember the game, the Sunday night game between the Chiefs and the Jets earlier this year, where everybody was going nuts because the Chiefs, they called defensive pass interference against the Jets on a play where they intercepted Mahomes and it would have ended the game, but they inexplicably called defensive pass interference on the Jets for no reason. And the Chiefs ended up winning. The Chiefs have gotten call after call after call for years, and Mahomes and the whole organization has just sat up there and been like, well, that was a good call. You know? Now you want to come out here and champion the cause of these referees shouldn't be the discussion every week. We shouldn't have to be talking about referees after the game. We shouldn't have to be going through all this. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this. Let the players decide it on the field. Don't let the referees decide it. Really, bro? Really? I will be the first to tell you, I think Patrick Mahomes is one of the best football players in the world. I do. I have said it in the past. I think if I were starting a franchise today, my first pick would probably be Patrick Mahomes. But come on, bro. This is a little ridiculous. Like, your guy was lined up off sides. What are you insinuating? Are you insinuating that the referee should have just let it go? Are you insinuating that the referee should have just let it go because it was a cool, awesome play? Yeah, it was a cool, awesome play, but we can't change the fact that your wide receiver Kadarius Toney was lined up offsides. Like, what do you want to just be like, never mind. There are plenty of instances where you could go off on referees. There are plenty of instances where you could rightfully go after referees for making awful calls. And you chose this. I mean, this guy was going crazy. This guy was like Stone Cold Steve Austin over there on the sideline trying to get at the referees. They're having to hold him back. And you know what I thought really looked bad for Mahomes? Because Mahomes usually carries himself pretty well. But have you seen the clip of him shaking hands with Josh Allen at midfield after the game? That's embarrassing. Josh Allen, who seems to be a pretty good guy. I've never seen Josh Allen do anything that made me go, I don't like that guy. Josh Allen's just going over there to tell the guy, good game. Hey, man, good game. It's the stereotypical, it's what you do. Hey, man, good game. Mahomes can't even look the guy in the eye for yelling about how bad the call. He's like, it's the worst call. Some of it I can't even repeat on this podcast. It's the worst call I've ever seen. Most bogus call I've ever seen, man. And Josh Allen's just standing there like, good game, bro. And he just walks off. Do you remember years ago that great playoff game between the Bills and the Chiefs where it went to overtime and it was back and forth and the Chiefs only had like 13 seconds and it still went down and tied and it's like one of the best playoff games ever? They showed a clip from that last night where Josh Allen respectfully went up to Mahomes afterwards, shook his hand, looked him in the eye, said, great game, congratulations, best of luck going forward. After one of the most heartbreaking losses of his career. Patrick Mahomes just lost a game in the regular season because of a penalty on his team that drops his team to 8-5. Speaking as a Titans fan, that is a record that some of us would give anything to have. I'd give anything to be 8-5 right now. And he's out here, can't even look this dude in the eye. I mean, come on. Here's the thing. I like Pat Mahomes. I think Pat Mahomes is great. But this is a bad look. This is a bad look. And even Andy Reid, one of the most respected coaches in the league, he came out and he was like, this is just one of the craziest things I've ever seen. It's like, dude, watch some other games. There are calls like this every week, except the calls that they make every other week are horrible. Some of these roughing the passer calls, some of these defensive holdings, defensive pass interference, some of these illegal contact. There's some of these calls where they come out and go, illegal contact, defense, and then they don't even show it. There was one against the Titans last week. They called illegal contact against the Titans, and I was sitting here like, who committed illegal contact? They didn't even show a replay. There's no accountability at all. Like, why don't you rant about calls like that? Because that crap happens every week. The other day, they called Titans, like, they called illegal contact on the Titans number 19. We don't even have a number 19. That's the kind of stuff happening every week. So forgive me if I'm not buying that this is the straw that breaks the camel's back, that your wide receiver was clearly lined up offsides. Like, sorry. I'm just not buying that. Anyway, I just had a lot to say about that. I like Patrick Mahomes. I do. A lot of people can't stand him. I think he's great. I think he has made some throws that I've never even known were possible in the past. I like Travis Kelce okay. He's not my favorite, but I like him okay. I like Taylor Swift. I'm a fan. I don't know if I call myself a Swiftie, but I like her okay. But this is ridiculous, bro. Come on now. If you want to rant about referees, I will cheer you on the whole time. But make sure to wait until they actually make a bad call. And maybe it's best to come from a team that doesn't benefit from bad referee calls all the time, like the Chiefs do. I mean, can you imagine, speaking of players that a lot of people didn't like, Tom Brady, he benefited from some referee decisions over the years, tuck rule and some other things. Did he ever do this? Did Tom Brady ever set up in a press conference and be like, they should have not called this because this was a cool play. This is the worst call I've ever seen. No. No, he didn't. Neither did Peyton. Neither did any of the others. You just gotta. I would expect Mahomes to come out and make some kind of statement in the next day or two. Probably because the NFL is going to fine him, which is ridiculous. We should be able to call out bad officiating, but anyway. I wanted to talk about this. After watching all these games yesterday, I wanted to go back and look at my preseason picks for who I thought would make the playoffs. These were the picks that I made before the season started. Let's start in the NFC. I had the number 1 seed go into the 49ers. Hey, all right, I'm a prophet. I had the number 2 seed go into the Eagles. Not sure. Still could, but last night was not good for them. I had the 3 seed going to the Lions. Hey, all right, okay, prophet right here. I had the 4 seed going to the Atlanta Falcons. That could still happen. They're in a 3-way tie at the top of their division. That could still happen. Had the 5 seed going to the Cowboys. Hey. I was on the money here in the NFC until you get to these last 2. My 6 seed in the NFC was the Bears. Not impossible, actually. We laugh. The Bears are like 1 game back now. They're 5-8, right? 5-8. I think the wild card teams are 6-7. So I mean, that's a talking point. I mean, the Bears are not totally dead, but not looking good. And then this pick was just embarrassing in hindsight. My number 7 seed was the Washington Commanders. So maybe not so much of a profit on that one. In the AFC, my number 1 seed was the Chiefs. Probably not going to be number 1 seed. My number 2 seed was the Bengals. Bengals are still hanging in there in a wild card race, but they're not going to be number 2. My number 3 seed was the Bills. I mean, you can't blame everybody's top 3 picks in the AFC preseason were the Chiefs, Bengals, Bills. I mean, come on. My 4 seed was the Titans. Probably went with my heart over my head on that one. My 5 seed was the Jets because I thought Aaron Rodgers, that didn't go like anybody planned. My 6 seed was the Jaguars. To prove I'm unbiased, I still had the Jaguars getting in. I just hoped it would be as a wild card, which the Jags are going to have to fight now. Jags are going to have to get it together. And then as my number 7 seed, I gave it to the Dolphins. So at least I had the Dolphins getting in. Now, one notable team I left out was the Ravens, who are knocking it out of the park. So let's update it. As of today, here are my updated. With a month to go, here are my updated playoff predictions. Unbiased. Number 1 seed, I got the Titans. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Can you imagine? I'm totally unbiased. It's not even possible for the Titans to get a number 1 seed. Number 1 seed in the AFC, and I'm going to go all the way through the Super Bowl here. This is a Super Bowl prediction, okay? Number 1 seed in the AFC, I'm going to give it to the Ravens. I think the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, he's playing well. He's playing very well. They won a game that I thought at many points they were going to lose yesterday, but Odell started to look better. Again, I think they're doing all this without Mark Andrews, one of the better tight ends in the league, but the Ravens look good. I got them as number 1 seed. Number 2 seed, I'm going to give it to the Miami Dolphins, the team that the Titans must play tonight. I think the Dolphins, probably got another loss in them somewhere this year. It won't be tonight, but I got them as number 2. Number 3, I'm still going to give it to the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs, I can't imagine that they're going to continue this spiral. I mean, they're playing New England next week. That's a perfect opportunity for them to start turning this thing around. Number 4, I'm going to give it to the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars I think they're going to lose this upcoming week. I do think they're going to lose to Baltimore, but they still got to play Carolina. They got to play Tennessee. That's at least 2 wins right there for their remaining 4 games. So, got the Jags at 4. Number 5, for the 5 seed, I'm going with the Browns. I mean, got to give it to Kevin Stefanski. This guy has done a great job coaching these Browns. Joe Flacco yesterday. What? I got the Browns at 5. Number 6 seed in the AFC, I'm giving it to the Denver Broncos. Broncos have won like 6 of their last 7 games. And I think that they could be a dangerous team in these playoffs. And they've got an easy enough schedule the rest of the way. I think you're looking at probably a 10-7 record for them. And that'll get them in. And then when it comes to the 7 seed, it's a toss-up for me between 2 teams. The Buffalo Bills and the Indianapolis Colts. It's between those 2 for me. And at the end of the day, I'm going to give it to the Bills. I just don't trust. I think that the Bills are going to win at least 3 of their last 4 and get in. I think, this win they got in KC, I think is going to push them forward. I got the Bills getting in as a 7 seed, which would put Bills at Dolphins in the first round of the playoffs. And I'm going to go with the Bills. I trust Josh Allen in the playoffs more than I trust Tua. So I'm going to go with the Bills over the Dolphins. Then that would put Broncos at Chiefs. I think that would be a very tough game. But at the end of the day, I will go with the Chiefs over the Broncos. Browns and Jags in Jacksonville. I'm going with the Browns. I'm going with the Browns. That defense is just good, man. And Jacksonville's looking sus. That would put Bills at Ravens in the divisional round. That would be a good one. I'm going with the Ravens, though, in Baltimore. And then you would have Browns at Chiefs. That defense would give them trouble. I'll go with the Chiefs. I don't think whatever quarterback the Browns will have can go in there and beat the Chiefs. So I got Chiefs and Ravens in the AFC title game. I know it's risky to put the Chiefs going that far after the last couple games. I just feel like they're going to wake up and come to life. But I'm going with the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. That's just who I trust in the AFC the most right now. The Dolphins have not beaten anybody good yet. So it's hard to trust them. The Chiefs look bad right now. Hard to trust them. The Jags look bad right now. Hard to trust them. Ultimately, I'm more prone to trust some of these wild card teams. I might trust Cleveland more than those teams I just named just because their defense is so good. I probably trust the Broncos and the Bills more than I trust these division leaders. But I'm going to go with the Ravens. That's who I trust the most with home field advantage. Give me the Ravens going to the Super Bowl. In the NFC, I'm still giving the number 1 seed to the 49ers. I think they're the best team in football right now. Giving the number 2 seed to the Cowboys. After last night, I'll give the 2 seed to the Cowboys. Going to give the 3 seed to the Detroit Lions, even though the Lions are looking sus right now. I'll go with the Lions at 3. At 4, with that 3-team tie, I just feel in my bones that it's still going to be the Falcons. I'm going to stick with the Falcons at 4. I just don't trust. I don't think the Bucs can string enough wins together over this last month, and I definitely don't think the Saints can. So I go with the Falcons at 4. At the 5 seed, I'll go with the Eagles. Whoever doesn't win the NFC East, probably going at 5. At number 6, I'm going with the Packers. I think the Packers are getting hot at the right time. They got a lot of momentum. I'm going with the Packers at 6. And at number 7, even though they lost yesterday, I think this is a team that's getting, they're putting together some momentum. They're looking good. They got a good young receiver. I'm going with the Rams with the 7 seed. I'm going with the Rams. Bruce is saying we're sleeping on the Colts. I think the Colts are going to be the odd team out. I think it's going to come down. I think the Colts are going to finish 9-8. I think the Bills are going to finish 10-7, and that's gonna get them in above them. But it changes week to week. That would put Rams and Cowboys in the first round. I got the Cowboys winning that. Packers Lions in the wild card round. I'm going with the Packers. I trust the Packers right now more than the Lions. Eagles Falcons. I'll go with the Eagles. So then we got Packers and Niners in the divisional round. That's a classic playoff matchup. I'm going with the Niners. That would do Eagles, Cowboys. After last night, you would be prone to pick the Cowboys, and I think I'll pick the Cowboys again. I'm gonna go Cowboys versus Niners in an NFC title game, and I got the Niners beating them in a close one. So I got a 49ers Ravens Super Bowl, and I got the 49ers winning the whole dang thing. I think the 49ers look like the toughest team to beat right now. Some other notable stuff that happened yesterday. The Bucks beat the Falcons in a very important game. Baker Mayfield, you got to give it to him. This guy's got a chip on his shoulder, and it's hard not to root for him. The Bengals destroyed the Colts. Freaking hilarious. Just the funniest thing I saw all day with Jake Browning and A.J. McCarron. Browns beat the Jags with Joe Flacco. That's freaking hilarious, dude. Bro. Joe Flacco was sitting on his couch 2 weeks ago. He came out of retirement, walked out on this field, and beat the crap out of the Jaguars. 2 weeks in a row, the Jags lost to Jake Browning and Joe Flacco. Come on, guys. Give it up. Can we have a song of victory right now? In the sweet, sweet, sweet victory. Yes, Jags getting hot at the right time, baby. Browns, I think, sealed a wild card spot yesterday with that win. Jets over the Texans. 30-6. Bro, I'm sorry, but let's talk about this. C.J. Stroud has been really good this year. They've been saying this man is the future of the league. They've been saying C.J. Stroud, future of the NFL. He is going to he's going to run this division. Yesterday, he was 10 of 23 for 91 yards. If Will Levis put up those stats against anybody, Texans fans would be absolutely burning down their city. They would be laughing so hard. If Will Levis put up anything resembling those numbers, they would be losing their minds. C.J. Stroud, 10 of 23 for 91 yards. He did get a concussion, I think, so God bless him there, which is important because the Titans play the Texans next week in the Oiler throwbacks, and they might be playing Davis Mills instead of C.J. Stroud. Ravens beat the Rams. What a great game this was. Ravens all over the Rams, 37-31. The punt return at the end. This Puka Nacua for the Rams, this guy's a stud. And the Lamar Jackson's playing really well. This is a great game. Bears over the Lions. I'm telling you, you better not rule the Bears out completely. They're a game out of a wild card. I would look out for them. Okay. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do because they are going to have the number one pick in the draft because Carolina has their pick and Carolina's just one of the worst teams I've ever seen. So the Bears are going to have number one pick in the draft. And if Justin Fields continues to play well like he has been, like yesterday, I think they might, like Marvin Harrison Jr. to the Bears, I think could be a lock if Justin Fields keeps playing the way he does. 2474 says, I think I'm watching Monday Night Raw tonight over the game. I'll have them both on just because I want to see this stuff with CM Punk. But I'll have them both on. But the game will be on the big screen and the Raw will be on the screen off to the side. And the Lions, hard to trust the Lions, man. They've laid some eggs this season. Saints over the Panthers, 28-6. Panthers are just, gosh. They're just hopeless right now. Saints did what they should have done. Dude, Vikings beat the Raiders 3-0. You remember all those Titans fans who were like, man, we should have Josh Dobbs. We should have kept Dobbs. I almost fell into that trap too. Dobbs got benched yesterday. There's a reason. There is a reason why Josh Dobbs has been in the league for 10 years and been a backup pretty much the whole time. He's kind of like Ryan Fitzpatrick. Like, the guy can come in and light it up for a little bit, but it's going to run out of steam. Vikings over the Raiders. And it's actually an important game for the Vikings because they're right in the thick of the wild card hunt. 49ers over the Seahawks 28-16. That game went about like I thought it would. Bills over the Chiefs 2017. We already talked about that one. Broncos over the Chargers 24-7. Justin Herbert got hurt. So that's something to monitor going forward. And then the Cowboys over the Eagles 33-13 last night. And then there's tonight. Someone in the chat said, if we get a top 5 pick, are we going O-line or a wide receiver? I don't think you need to eliminate the idea of the Titans going corner. I haven't eliminated that possibility. My gut feeling is that they will go O-line, but I also think that you can get a good wide receiver in the second round. So I don't think they'll go wide receiver that high. I think they will either go O-line or maybe corner. Packers-Giants tonight. Let's get that one out of the way. I'm going with the Packers to win that one. Miami Dolphins and the Tennessee Titans. I'm not kidding you when I say I think Tyreek Hill could have 200 yards of offense tonight. I kid you not. I'm not just saying it to be funny. I think Tyreek Hill could have 200 yards. Who's going to cover him? Who's going to cover him? Like, this man is just going to... He is going to take off in a dead sprint down the field, and Tua's going to chunk it up there to him, and he's going to catch it. And he's going to run, he's going to run, he's going to run, he's going to run. He's going to throw up the peace sign, and he's going to score. All night long. I'm telling you. I think if the Titans have a shot, if you want the Titans to win tonight, Titans are going to have, and I know this is the classic game plan, you're going to have to just give the ball to Derrick Henry all night and try to control the clock. Because the only way that the Dolphins are not going to score is if their offense is not on the field. If you can go on some of these long drives and then just ask your defense to get a stop or two at some point, then maybe you can win. Maybe you can drag Miami down into the mud with you and beat them 16-13 or something like that. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think our offense is going to be able to sustain enough of those drives tonight. If the Titans win, if you're one of those folks, because I try to satisfy everybody here, if you're one of those folks who are wondering what it would mean for the Titans if they won, what would that possibly mean? It means whether you're talking about the division race, whether you're talking about the wild card race, you need Indianapolis for one thing. You need them to fall apart. Like, you need them to only win one game the rest of the way. You need them to go at best 1-3. Assuming you win out, you need the Colts to fall apart because they beat you twice head-to-head. They own every tiebreaker over you. The Browns own every tiebreaker over you because they beat you head-to-head. The Steelers own every tiebreaker over you because they beat you head-to-head. So you need to win out still. Even if you win tonight, you need to win out, and you need some other teams to lose. You need the Broncos to lose some games. You need the Colts to lose a lot of games. You need the Bills to lose at some point. You need, you need the Jags to lose a lot. You need the Texans to lose. You play them twice. You need a lot of help, even if you win. If the Titans win tonight in a miraculous way, you're going to have people come out and say, okay, what do we need? What do we need to make the playoffs? If we go 9-8, how do we make the playoffs? You're going to have some people who say that, and like I said last week, I love you for that. I love you for that optimism. You need to win out, and you need a heck of a lot of help from other teams. Hey, stranger things have happened. For my final score tonight, I'm going to say Dolphins 38, Titans 17. I think it'll be lopsided. Dolphins 38, Titans 17 tonight. And I'm going to go even further than that. I'm going to say the Titans 2 touchdowns are a Derrick Henry run and a Will Levis touchdown pass to Chig Okonkwo. I don't know. It's the first person I can think of. Thank you guys for joining me on the Two Tone Talk podcast. I know we had a lot to talk about today. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget, I'll be back with a bonus episode tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll be talking about the game tonight, talking about what all went down, talking about what it means for the Titans going forward. Don't miss tomorrow, Two Tone Talk podcast. Bonus episode for the first time ever. Thank you guys. This is Two Tone Talk podcast, where we stay way too high on the wins, way too low on the losses. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Feel free to be